updates come through, and a lot of these new maps I think are going to be interesting to see as well later on in the day. Naval Base being the first completely new map we're going to see out of HD definitely excites me a lot as well.
All right, guys and girls, it's time for a very quick break here. And when we come back, it's going to be LGD up against All Gamers. We'll be back right after this.
Hello everyone, welcome to Fun Stars Show. I'm your host Karina, and today we have invited many special guests to the dance. Let's say hello to our audience and introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Darren, nickname Dice, and I'm playing for Flipside Tactics.
Hello, I'm Manelas from Team Center Sports.
Hello, my name is Pablo, I'm a member of Team Forward.
And now we will have a little game. The game we are going to play is very simple because you just need to count the beads on the plate. But at the same time, you need to answer every question I ask you when you are counting. So it's actually test your concentration. But we believe our professional players will show us your talent. Do you have any confidence? Okay, let's start. Ready to go. Time to start. Okay, 3, 2, 1, start. The first question is, do you like beans?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you like CF?
Of course.
Yes.
And how long have you been playing CF?
9 years.
7 years. 9 years.
And how many times have you been to China?
It's my first
4
time.
times.
About 8.
You're a little slow. And how many people are you in your team at this time?
5.
Okay, could you tell me what day is it?
What is it?
Today.
Today, yes. Okay, can you tell me when is your birthday? Birthday.
December 25.
7th September.
And what is 8 plus 3?
11.
And 12 plus 4?
16.
And 6 times 4?
24.
And do you like Chinese food?
Yes.
Do you like Nanjing food?
Yes.
Never tried it, okay. And can you tell me the 6 plus 9?
10.
50? 6 plus 9, 17, 50. And you?
15.
Yes. Okay, the last one is, please tell me the 8 times 3.
24.
Okay, the first one is finished. You continue. Okay, let's wait for the other two. Wow. And after this, we will open the button of the plate to reveal the number of the beans on the plate. And whose number is actually closed. The actual number. Here's the winners. Okay? Use 2 hands to continue. Okay. Okay, finish. Could you tell me how many you're counting?
127.
127. Let me take a look. Is it the correct? The real number is 129. Wow, very close. Okay, and you?
133.
133. Take a look. 33 was also very nearly, but it's just after 5. Okay, and you? How about you?
125.
125. Can you help me too? Wow, it's very close. Okay, and now we have prepared many prize for you. We have prepared the participation prize is our Nanjing's famous food, Nanjing specialty, salted duck. Do you like it?
Yeah.
You can try the Nanjing food. Okay.
Thank you very much.
And for you, congratulations for you. And the winner prize is our Chinese Winjing Thai, because 2 people theme is the same prize. Okay, so we will give you 2 prizes to you. Okay? Okay, it's our participation award, and because our have 2 winners, so we have prepared the winner prize for you. It is our Chinese Winjing Thai, very beautiful for you. Congratulations. Yeah, you can open it. Let's take a look. Oh, it's very beautiful. You can show it to our audience. Wow, it's so beautiful. And congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow. He's very sad because he don't have it. Yes. Okay, thank you for joining us here, and thank you for watching. Bye.
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 I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS. I love CFS. I love CFS. I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS. I love CFS. I love CFS. I love CFS. I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS. I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS. I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS. I love CFS. I love CFS.
I love CFS. I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
Hello and welcome back to Nanjing here in China. It's our Crossfire event matches day for Crossfire HD. 4 of the top teams from across China competing here in what is quite a new experience, I think, for some of these players, and for some of them, maybe just a revamp, a cool new look at something that they played all of their life, probably, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, going into this, I didn't expect necessarily the dominance we've seen so far, but these veteran players have sort of brought themselves to the forefront, but there's still time for these young new players to show themselves, especially when we get into those best of threes. But overall, it's been incredible to see how they sort of play on these revamped and sort of new life in these old maps too.
Yeah, Blue, what's been the coolest thing for you about Crossfire HD so far?
I've been loving a lot more of the aggressive play that we've been seeing out of some of our blacklist sided teams. We're willing to try some little bit more crazier strats, a little bit more direct forward strats than we're maybe used to seeing, and that's good because obviously, like in an early stage of the game, you're maybe going to be expecting some more passive play, some little bit more rehearsed play style to come out of these guys. That's not the case. They're really trying to bring the heat early on and try to catch some of these defensive teams off guard while they may not know the maps that well. Yeah,
the aggression has actually been very exciting to watch. You know, it's even though you might be playing the same map like Black Widow, a map we know from Crossfire, the playstyle has been a little bit different. Maybe it's the map itself, maybe it's these players coming back into it. We'll have to wait and see how the rest of the day plays out. But right now, it's going to be our upper bracket final, another best of one. LGD up against All Gamers. These two teams won their first best of one. The winner now of this best of one locks themselves a spot in the grand final a little bit later on this afternoon. They're going to avoid all of those best of threes up into the grand final. It's going to put them in prime position, Kyle. What more could you want? An easy afternoon while you get to watch your opponents play.
Yeah, it's really a great position for whoever comes out on top in this best of one, and they have to really just sort of sit back and watch what they may be facing in the grand final. But to be fair, this could be sort of a preview of what that grand final is.
Yeah.
Both of these teams coming out with a huge performance in their first games really leads me to believe this could be what the grand finals is in store for us.
Do you agree with that, Blue? I can't help but agree as well that I feel like maybe LGD and All Gamers are the two top teams here today, and you know, irrespective of the result in this best of one, maybe we'll see them together again in the grand final.
Yeah, at least we judged off the first round results. That certainly seems to be the case. We'll have to see if things change up a little bit once we get down to the lower bracket and we see potentially the loser of this one go up against the winner of our next match coming up after this one. We'll have to see if things change up a little bit there in a best of three format, but I think in the best of ones, these two teams are certainly the best of the best right now.
They are. The more experienced players on both of these teams. That's what we've seen so far. The other two teams maybe have an experienced leader with a bit of young blood coming through. So, look, for now, it's been AG and LGD coming out on top, but only one of them is going to be able to come out of this best of one. What do we think about maps? What do we think we're going to see here? We've had 2 different maps so far as we get into our ban and pick. What do you think All Gamers now are going to ban out? Oh, there we go, Eagle Eye.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the bans and picks, I wouldn't be surprised if this is the first time we actually see Naval Base, just because both teams are going to be extremely comfortable on the other 2 maps. So maybe with both Eagle Eye bans here, it could be Naval Base after all, and both teams having to go into this sort of newer map could be an option, but Black Widow, it's going to be a classic for both of them.
I was hyped for a second, but I guess we'll save Naval Base for later. For now, we're going to get the original, the OG Black Widow coming out all in HD, seeing 2 teams of really expert professional players. Almost like a match from back in the day, Blue, seeing some of these coming out.
Yeah, the big thing going into this matchup now is that All Gamers is going to have a pretty good edge. They were obviously very well warmed up on this map. They've had plenty of time to get used to it, and they played it in a live match. Not necessarily going to be the case for LGD, so we'll see how well rehearsed they are on it.
Absolutely, it's all coming down to this. A quick pickup here on a best of one, a bit of momentum, gets you through to the grand final. You can see the pressure is on. They are taking this seriously. These might be Crossfire event matches, but it means everything to these players. Let's get into it. LGD up against AG in a best of one.
All right, and so it's back to a classic once again, ladies and gentlemen, to start things off for our third map of the day. It's going to be All Gamers going up against LGD. The winner will punch their ticket into the grand finals nice and early on and get a smooth little break here to sit through the best of 3 phase. As we'll have to see the loser of this one also wait up the next best of 3 to battle it out against the winner moving out from the overall lower bracket. Let's get into it though. It's LGD on the attack to start.
As we can see, LGD already working their way towards this B bomb site. The interesting thing to see here, though, is that all-important sniper duel here against Nice and Dono. 2 very strong players in their opening matches to make that large impact, but only one will be the greater here in this situation. LGD, though, already grouped up outside the B bomb site, ready to strike here. But Dono, the first pick, already going his way, takes down Nice and wins that initial sniper duel.
So good start indeed. Nice getting picked off early here. All Gamers look to keep the defensive-sided nature of this map in their favor. Certainly try to keep that theory true. I saw Kyle talking about before, but that HD might be a little bit more defensively sided than the classic version. So we'll see if that holds true in this matchup or if LGD can maybe change things up and get off to an earlier start here on the attack.
As we saw in their opening game as well, JP and Minnow, very strong entry fraggers for this LGD lineup. We'll see if that holds true here on Black Widow, as it did on Eagle Eye. 2 completely different maps, though. A lot more long-range fights on this map of Black Widow. And AG, once again, fearless on the defense. Push out. JP finds one, but can they get the trade? Not going to happen. AG, once again, hold on, Daze. And Allen clean things up nicely here in the opening round, and AG continues to hold a strong defense here once again.
Good hold by AG to start things off and put them on the board early, and we've got that pick coming out once again from the Global Risk spawn, finding a nice early frag against Nice. It's going to come in from Dono as well on the AWM, finding that very early impact to put AG ahead.
AG definitely looking like the team here to beat in this match so far. Nice, struggling to get any picks with that but when you have to get out of spawn to do it, it can be very difficult with that early spawn positioning, favoring the defenders so heavily here with that early pick going their way. LGD still looking for the opening here, trying to find that way in, but against the likes of AG on Black Widow, not looking too likely so far. Going to try and sneak through the smoke here into mid, but it's going to be Dono already finding another. Can't connect on the third here for the round in himself, but is going to be a lot of pressure. But he finds the third, finally looking for another one behind the doors, but it's not going to happen. But the flank from Azir already taking place. Minnow and JP left in a tight spot here, trying to fight their way out of it. But JP already finds one, trying to work their way into this B bomb site. They do have a little bit of control here, but Minnow and JP still need to get the C4 down quickly. 2v3 now as the retake starts to pull through, but the C4 actually not quite in sight just yet.
No easy way to get it over to the site, at least at this point for Minnow, because he's still in a bad position, still pretty leaned far away from the site. JP got to be careful as well. The peek from Dono that would have been awaiting him. In the event he peeks that door, he will fall victim to it though, leaving everything on to Minnow for LGD's side. He's going to try to push himself over towards A. It actually is left relatively open as well. A bit of an overemphasis on the defense from AG towards the B site. So Minnow will be able to walk right in, potentially allowing him to get a free plant. The 1v3 in the post plant is going to be the most difficult part though. So it looks like he's actually moved through the window. Trying to go for the aggressive pick on Dono. This should be an easy start for him. He's going to walk directly up. There we go. Whoa, even misses that opening shot, so a little bit scary for a sec. Does manage to still find the frag, and now he'll quickly rush back over towards A. No, he'll go back instead, but it's going to be Daze that ends up picking him off. Unfortunately, no plant to be seen this time as AG do closes out.
And we see once again that AG dominance on the defensive half so far. LGD struggling a bit to find the openings. This time around, though, let's hope Nice doesn't fall again early. LGD having that problem and Nice getting picked off by Dono. Both opening rounds so far. LGD going back for the B-bomb site take this time around. We'll see if they have a clean execution in store for us after all. This time the bomb not going to be too far away from reach here. Last time around they were very split up, but Dono again leads the charge here. AG getting pick after pick thanks to him.
So bringing us down into a 5v4 yet again. AG get themselves off to an early advantage. It could be growing even more so in a second here as well. Had Mino potentially peeking into Dono once more to give him a second kill, but not going to be happening this time around. He's going to be forced back. Fly into that B site. Around the long corner here. It's once again going to become big struggle point for both of these teams as NCP looks to throw pressure against this defensive setup from AG, but it's going to be difficult to do that. There's a two-man play positioned by AG right around the corner. It doesn't look like it's going to be so easy to break past. Allen, on the other hand, might have some pressure being thrown his way too, as it does appear as though LGD are going to be throwing pressure up the catwalk in a moment. Allen will have to be here to defend it. He hears the pressure coming at him and is able to pick up at least one kill before he gets traded up by Maya. It's now going to be NCP wrapping out for the double pickup though, bringing all gamers down to Desale and Dono to close out an uneven situation now.
LGD with their first big opportunity to pick up a round and get one on the board here, but still a retake possible here from all gamers. Dono trying to lead the charge back in. He's been so vital to their success so far on this map. We'll see if he can do it under the pressure of this retake, but right now LGD, they have the perfect setup here. They've got a nice little triangle pinch on the bomb site. NCP, though, has his back turned, but it doesn't matter. JP finds the first. Dono, though, can he be the hero once again? Finds the double, looks for the 1v3. Can he do it, though? Gets the 1v3. Dono, again, being the dominating force here for AG.
Dono single-handedly keeping his team in control of this matchup once again. All gamers coming out on top at the end of the day, and it comes down to a clutch from Dono to be able to pull it off, a massive one at that as well in the 1v3 situation. Not leaving anything up to chance there, but it is going to continue to push all gamers ahead 3-0 now against LGD with a solid start on this defensive half.
They just showed Dono's score 9-1 so far. If he keeps that up, it would be quite incredible. 3 kills per round for Dono in this match so far, but the opening pick will go against AG this time around. Nicely done to start things off, but it's not over just yet. With Dono still alive here, you've got to be careful. Dono looking for that mid pick once again, almost finds the head of NCP. Has to play a little bit safer though, doesn't want his team to start getting picked himself here. Day is already down to 35 HP. LGD looking for the round, but Dono alive, still looking for that opening pick for AG.
So Daze is going to continue to run down the timer now by waiting himself for a push to eventually move its way in from LGD onto Catwalk. Not seeing that though. LGD continue to hold back in mid, continue to run down the timer in their own regard. For all gamers, they're also holding back in a passive pattern right now. Not throwing too much pressure at LGD. Basically letting LGD have their way with the lead up to most of the sites. They are going to try to go for a little bit of a pinch this time, meaning Asir will find himself in a pretty bad position once the cat play comes out. He'll be knocked out by Nice first off. Rest of the team now moving in to cut off the players that'll be holding over towards defensive spawn. It'll be a 1-for-1 exchange though. Mino able to get one. Dono again finding the impact back by his team spawns, but this time he'll be cut off by NCP. But Allen able to hold on, not forever though. Finally, after a consecutive streak coming out from all gamers, LGD do find the key needed to shut down that defensive setup and pick up their first round.
Nicely done there from LGD, but it's not over just yet. It's still a 3-1 lead here for all gamers, looking prime in this first half to potentially finish us out with a victory for themselves. Allen, though, gets the opener. AG already on top once again. It's going to be a 5-on-4. Asir, though, down to 16 HP after that happened. Dono still looking for those mid picks, though quite successful. Look at that score, 10-2. Definitely the most dominating player in this server so far in the map.
Definitely the most dominating player in this event so far as well. Dono finding massive impact. More so on the defensive side. It's been Asir really was showing up for us on the AK. On the attacking side, as we saw in their previous matchup, and we'll have to see if that ends up holding true once we switch sides in a few rounds here. But LGD once again have the passive opener. No early aggression being tossed out by them towards either of the sites. They do go for another mid-cross, which will get spotted out by Dono, but Dono hasn't had as much luck this time with finding those mid-picks. So no more additional kills are going to be found by him or anyone else on AG here.
LGD trying to find that opening, though, looking to potentially hit the catwalk here, but 3 AG players already in position. This could be a great setup for AG to try and catch this push off guard. LGD trying to shove their way in. JP gets the opener, but that's it. AG, they shut it down, and it's going to be a 2-on-4. NCP and Minnow looking for the recovery here. NCP will find a kill there, takes down Dono. Big player to get out of the picture, but it may not matter. AG in the hands of Daze pick up another. It's going to be Minnow left in a 1v3.
Minnow trying to move himself up to the site, but it will not play out. He's going to get knocked out, and we are going to see all gamers take control of their 4th round now, swiftly moving back into control after that little bump from LGD.
Right now it is going to be LGD still looking for their second round here. With one less round in the half, they have to be careful because this can quickly go against them. The opening pick, though, will be Dono going down early. A nice change of pace to see here from LGD. Finally winning that duel could be the key here.
So back into that 5 versus 4 in the favor of now LGD. Try and push themselves ahead once again and tie things up. It could be a 2-4 scoreline if they're able to follow through. As we know in Crossfire, though, comebacks are very plausible and oftentimes happen quite a bit, actually. We don't want to count either team out of the round just yet. It's a swift execute, finally coming onto that B site, something that's been relatively unused by LGD up to this point, though, and they'll walk right in. Allen, the only one that can try to hold this off, but he's done it. From the inside of the window, manages to pick one. Daze also holds off a push from mid, bringing the numbers from LGD down to 3, but most importantly, they have control of the site now and can get their C4 planted.
4v3 though for the retake here in favor of AG. LGD needs to lock this one down. The B-bomb site not looking too confident here just yet. AG though going for the full attack, not gonna matter. NCP and Maya look at down the crosshairs there and just make it happen. Right now though, AG, they're firing back. Allen already finds himself one. NCP, a 1v1 here. The Om, though, picked up by Allen. Interesting decision. NCP has the C4 in hand to deal with. Still needs to try and find an opening, though, stuck here on this B-bomb site. Cross has to decide if he wants to go for the fight on Allen, but Allen may have just given him the opportunity to get it down.
Just under a minute remaining here, and as you said, NCP is going to have his window open to be able to go for the plant opportunity now as Allen tries to go for the flank over towards the B site, which may not end up working out too well for him anymore, considering that the last man alive from LGD, NCP, is going to sneak over towards A instead and put the plant down here instead.
NCP looking for a very crucial round here for LGD to get back into this one. Allen, though, trying to keep AG on top, potentially 5-1 if they walk away with this round here. The nice spot, though, comes out from NCP, trying to cancel this re-execution here, but it's not going to happen. Allen comes through with the kill, and that'll be another round for AG, one step closer to victory here in the upper bracket finals.
As AG once again cut away early on from the pack, from their opponents, and are able to hold a massive lead overall in the game score now. Push it up to 5-1 as we inch towards the very end of this opening half. Remember, they are not going to be as long as we've seen in previous iterations of Crossfire. It's going to be only 8-round halves, not the full 9-round halves that we've had before. Another opening start is determined by the Almers from either side, and this time again it goes in the favor of LGD, knocking Dono out, who'd been finding good impact early on in the half, but has since fallen off in his capability to find any of these early round picks.
LGD now have the opportunity to go in with the advantage, and they don't have to worry about Dono either on this bomb site, but Daze picks up one. AG hold on nicely, another double kill to answer back. And LGD already down to a 2-on-3. It's not going to matter though. Nice, now all alone, has to try and catch them off guard on the flank, but he's just spotted at the last moment. Nice though, finds the opener here, 1v3, now in a 1v2 now. Has to find that opening to try and re-execute onto the bomb site, but still the bomb is down in the hands of AG, and this could be enough.
A long way to go indeed for Nice to try and pull off the 1v2 clutch. Doesn't have himself, there we go. I was about to say, doesn't really have himself a rifle to play in the open here either, so working with the Om would have made it that more difficult. He hasn't even seen the peek coming out from Jaleh across the water pit, and as a result, Jaleh will be able to finish him off, getting another very decisive round over to AG at 6-1.
LGD not in the best of positions here. What we thought might have been a close match here has surely been AG on top of this one. And again, they start off strong. Daze and Dono, 2 picks already in the hands of AG. Minnow tries to answer back, but it's not going to happen. He's shut down as well. JP tries to go in and support, but it's not going to matter. It's all over. AG, the complete shutdown, A-long. And it's a 7-1 half. A remarkable way to get this started.
Jaleh once again showing himself the performance that he was able to bring to the table. We're not going to be switching sides, of course, moving the Blacklist over towards the Global Risk, and Global Risk will jump onto the Blacklist side, but with a very one-sided scoreline that we've had on the opening half once again, as all gamers continue to dominate as they have in the past in Standard Crossfire. They're only 2 more rounds away on their attacking side, on their Blacklist side, from being able to close down this map.
And we do see a second sniper joining Dono for AG. It is going to be Allen as well on that AWM. We'll see if that makes a potential difference here on the way the attack comes through. But right now, AG just trying to post up these players over towards A long to grab that initial pick and see what they can find here. Still, AG in the key position here, a 7-1 lead, 2 rounds away already from taking this upper bracket final and finding themselves as the first team here in our grand final. AG still a bit of hesitation comes through. Dono going to reposition as we do see Allen swap back onto the AK. That's going to be a decent change here to potentially attack with.
It's going to be a slow wind-up once again from AG. Unlike LGD, it seems like AG are a little bit more cautious with the way they play their blacklist side, not wanting to take any unnecessary risks with a more direct push early on, and instead wanting to try and fish out any mistakes from LGD, and they might just get one. Dono with a nice opening shot, and once again, he's found his stride as he's able to take down NCP early on.
Dono looking to end this map as it started with him on top of the scoreboards here, making a large amount of impact for the AG roster here. LGD, though, need the answers now. Time ticking. Less than a minute on the clock. They need to strike here and potentially shut down this push before it comes through, but they've been so passive on their defenses that AG's going to try and push in and shut things down themselves. Right now, though, LGD get the opener they need to try and stall this push. A lot of HP lost on these 2 catwalk players in the process, though. Daze looking to try and respond back with a kill of his own. Can't find anything just yet. Nice. Able to clean up one of the AG players on the opposite side of the map as well.
So into a 3 versus 4. That's where we're going to end up at. LGD still with strong control over the current situation. AG unable to push their way up through Cat. They're going to fall back into mid instead, go through the water pit, and make their way up into the B site through the halls. Out they're going to go, and they're going to find it relatively open, or at least they believe that. Minnow would find some pretty massive impact here as they believe it's open. No, they get the spot onto Minnow. He's unable to hold. Allen will be able to eliminate him, and Allen's going to look for a few more kills as well. Won't be the case, though. He'll get picked off on a trade from Nice. Dono gets himself back into it, but Nice is saving the day here. It's brought into a 2v1, all on Dono, but Dono is getting it done. A double kill from him. And now it's a 1 versus 1. Him versus JP. Should have just seen JP move in as well. He'll get the trade out to the AK. Of course, the plant's going onto the ground, so Dono can try to play this off-site. If he gets JP to commit himself to a plant, it should be an easy closeout in the 1v1. But JP plays incredibly cautiously, moves up to the double doors. He does get the spot. Dono has found massive impact, but the same is returned. It won't matter, though. Dono gets the closeout, and we see AG push forward. 1 more round, and they've got this map.
It's looking like Crossfire HD may have its shining star in Dono here, playing incredibly in this match. 8-1 AG already ready to take this one home and put themselves into the finals here. LGD, they looked so good in their first match, but right now it has completely fallen apart for them, and an 8-1 lead. Would need 7 in a row just to tie this one up here and potentially push this one even further. But right now, AG, they have everything in their hands to close this one out. Dono leading that charge by a huge margin on the scoreboards here.
So AG are going to work their way down. It's looking like a walk across the bridge and over towards the B site is going to be the game plan once again for all gamers as they look to close out this series with a definitive take. But LGD still looking to try and stop things in their own regard. We'll have to see how successful they'll be in this. They've got the with presence towards this site, and it's going to be Nice once again playing from the inside of the window, trying to catch out AG on the execute if at all possible. Get the spot, takes a shot early on. No connection will be made though.
AG looking to end this one, though. Nice. Really wants that mid pick, but he cannot find anything just yet. Dono down to half HP from that fight, but still, he's not down. Nice not getting what he wanted out of that situation means LGD still have no advantage on the round, and AG still have a chance to take this one 9-1, which would be the best score we've seen on a single map so far. Crossfire HD, 9 rounds needed to win here instead of 10, so we'll see if Dono out of the picture makes this one a bit more difficult. LGD, though, looking for that second round still. A lot of trouble in mid.
Maya also looking for his own capability to strike here for LGD, but no. Jale, Daze, all picking up kills. Minnow, the only trade that we're going to be able to see from the side of LGD along with Nice's, but it won't matter much. It's down to a 1v1 at the end of the day, as it's going to be Daze, a 2v1, as Daze and Allen look to close out against Minnow. He's already been able to pick up one for himself, but he's going to get pushed by both at the same time. AG will close out once again, absolutely destroying the upper bracket. We'll find a very, very easy ticket all the way to the grand finals here at our CFS event. for Crossfire HD.
Overall, AG just showing they are the powerhouse of these 4 teams so far, but at the end of the day, it's not over just yet. We still have a loser's bracket on the way.
Yeah, wow, what a ripper of a match. And, well, when we put the 2 experienced teams head-to-head, all gamers coming out on top and doing so in quite an impressive fashion. Look, it may have been that because they started off on Global Risk, they started off on that defensive side, they were able to get a few rounds in. And it's quite an imposing figure, isn't it, when you can see your opponent so far ahead. You know, yeah, well, it is quite one-sided, but they only need to find 1 or 2 and then they won the game.
I think the biggest thing was Dono versus Nice was just so one-sided the entirety of this match that it made so many big openings for AG to hold on to. On top of that, Dono was still clutching as well. Just overall, one of the best performances I've seen in a single match in quite some time, and he's definitely a shining star for this AG lineup.
And even when we saw Dono start to fall towards the end of the first half, it didn't even really seem to matter either. Even when Nice was starting to come out on the winning end of those duels at the beginning of the round, we were still seeing the rest of his teammates pick up the slack in a 4v5 and just constantly shut things down.
This all-gamers team, we saw them go head-to-head in our first match, and we said, well, you know, maybe when they come up against a more convincing opponent, things will be a little bit closer. But in that particular best-of-1, it was not the case. And now they've locked themselves into this afternoon's best-of-3 grand final. Best-of-3s all the way out to finish off the day here. 3 big best-of-3 matches, all of them elimination matches as well. So a lot on the line. All of the teams, though, still in the competition, Kyle.
That is right. Everyone with a chance to fight their way through, and now they'll have best-of-3s to sort of prepare themselves to potentially face AG once again in that final, and I think a lot of teams may need that chance to get a bit more comfortable. If anyone wants to take down AG, we're going to have to see a huge step up in performance.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe those best-of-3s are going to be enough to just, you know, you lose one map and you feel like you've found your feet again and you can get into it. Having these stop-starts best-of-1 maybe doesn't work for everyone.
Best-of-1 doesn't necessarily give you a whole lot of time to examine your playstyle due to the very fast-paced nature of Crossfire. You're not going to have a whole lot of time as the leader of the team to figure out what exactly is going wrong and fix those issues. In a best-of-3, you'll have a little bit more downtime in between the maps to take a look at your performance and hopefully figure out what exactly was going wrong to fix that in a second map should you end up dropping the first.
Look, both of you went through and said All Gamers was probably going to be the team to beat here in Crossfire HD, and so far, that is looking like a pretty clever prediction. Obviously, studying up on your Crossfire HD teams, that's for sure. But I'm still ready. I'm waiting to see Naval Base, Kyle. When's it going to come out?
I mean, surely in the best-of-3s here we will see it, but I think it just comes down to, I really didn't expect AG to be this good comparatively as well. I mean, LGD, you look at players like Nice and Minnow who are really well experienced in their own right, but they still couldn't even stand a chance against the likes of AG here. So I think it's really going to come down to the maps we may have not seen yet for teams to potentially pull ahead here.
Yeah, Blue, is Dono really this good?
We'll have to see. I mean, he hasn't been tested in a best-of-3 yet. He's always hit the ground running in a lot of these matches, the things. So he's always got his confidence brewing into his favor. I'm curious to see if we get a map where all gamers get off to a little bit of a slower start, if he's going to be able to bring the same performance to the table.
And it's Days, actually, who gets the MVP. So if Dono's not going to do it for you, then Days with a 13-5 KDR, that's surely enough to get you across the line. Very impressive, to say the least.
Oh, definitely. I mean, Days still had a great performance. He was one of the key entry fraggers backing up Dono and making sure the trades went their way as well. So all in all, really, AG as a whole looks like an unstoppable monster right now.
All right, guys and girls, that is it for our best-of-1s. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it's a best-of-3. Tyloo up against OMG.
Hello everyone, welcome to Fun Stars Show. I'm your host Karina, and today we have invited many special guests to the dance. Let's say hello to our audience and introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Darren, nicknamed Dice, and I'm playing for Flipside Tactics.
Hello, I'm Naval Base from Team Center Sports.
Hello, my name is Pablo. I'm a member of Team Forward.
And now we will have a little game. The game we are going to play is very simple because you just need to count the beans on the plate. But at the same time, you need to answer every question I ask you when you are counting. So it's actually test your concentration. But we believe our professional players will show us your talent. Do you have any confidence? Okay, let's start. Ready to go. Countdown to start. Okay, 3, 2, 1, start. The first question is, do you like beans?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you like CF?
Of course.
Yes.
And how long have you been playing CF?
9 years.
7 years. 9 years.
And how many times have you been to China?
It's my first
4
time.
times. About 8.
You're a little slow. And how many people are you in your team at this time?
5.
Okay, could you tell me what day is it?
What is it?
Today.
Today, yes. Okay, can you tell me when is your birthday? Birthday.
December 25 July.
7th September.
And what is 8 plus 3?
11.
And 12 plus 4?
16.
And 6 times 4?
24.
And do you like Chinese food?
Yes.
Do you like Nanjing food?
Yes.
Never tried it, okay. And can you tell me the 6 plus 9?
10.
50, 6 plus 9, 70, 50, and you?
15.
Yes, okay, the last one is, please tell me the 8 times 3.
24.
Okay, the first one is finished, you continue. Okay, let's wait for the other two. Wow. And after this, we will open the bottom of the plate to reveal the number of the beans on the plate. And whose number is actually close. The actual number. Here's the winners, okay? Use 2 hands to count here. Okay. Okay, finished. Could you tell me how many you're counting?
127.
127. Let me take a look. Is this the correct? The real number is 129. Wow, very close. Okay, and you?
133.
133. Take a look. 33. Was also very nearly, but it's just after 5. Okay, and you? How about you?
125.
125. Can you help me too? Wow, it's very close. Okay, and now we have prepared many prize for you. We have prepared the participation prize is our Nanjing's famous food, Nanjing specialty, salted duck. Do you like it?
Yeah.
You can try the Nanjing food. Okay.
Thank you very much.
And for you. Congratulations for you. And the winner prize is our Chinese Yunjing Tai because 2 people spin is the same price. Okay, so we will give the 2 prize to you. Okay? Okay, it's our participation award, and because our have 2 winners, so we have prepared the winner prize for you. It is our Chinese Yunjing Tai, very beautiful for you. Congratulations. Yeah, you can open it. Let's take a look. Oh, it's very beautiful. You can show it to our audience. Wow, it's so beautiful. And congratulations. Wow. He's very sad because he's so happy. Yes. Okay, thank you for joining us here and thank you for watching. Bye.
Bye.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS. I love CFS. I love CFS. I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love happy star.
I
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS. I love CFS. I love CFS. I love CFS.
I love CFS. I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS. I love CFS. I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
Hello and welcome back to Nanjing in China. It is our Crossfire event matches for Crossfire HD. We've seen 4 top teams compete so far, and now all gamers have made their way through to this afternoon's best of 3 grand final. Still 3 other teams remaining, but it's all elimination from here, Kyle. And a lot is on the line for a couple of these teams, particularly in our next elimination match.
Yeah, there definitely is, and it's now time for these teams to show us what fight they have left within themselves to try and push themselves in towards that grand final. But All Gamers, they really just sort of plowed through everybody to get to the position they're in that finals now, but still, it's going to be a tough one ahead for these remaining teams to get there. I mean, Tyloo and OMG, they had pretty disappointing performances in their opening matches, but now against each other, they can really show us what they have in store in a best of 3.
At least in the case of when we look at the performance for OMG, there were still some good individual performances, in my opinion, in their opening match. The problem for Tyloo is we didn't even really see that. Unfortunately, nobody really stepped up to the plate for them. Granted, it was a little bit more of an unfamiliar map, I do believe, going on to one of our other maps instead of Black Widow, which is where the other two got played out. But still, if we don't see any of those players step up, we could be in for another very quick best of 3 ultimately here, as OMG still looked a little bit more promising in terms of their individual play style.
Yeah, I guess my hope coming into this for Tyloo is that perhaps they just didn't get a chance to start. They didn't get that opportunity to sort of get the ball rolling for them in that first match. It was over almost before it began. So now heading into best of 3s, heading in with perhaps one would hope for them an opponent, more better match for them, I suppose. It can give them a chance to warm up, and maybe that's what they need to get back in to this competition. And, you know, if they can find some form here across the next 3 maps, they might find themselves back in the grand final if they really pick it up.
I think they do still have a chance here as well, because the map of Eagle Eye I don't think was friendly to how they wanted to play. If you take your time on that map, it's just so condensed that you can easily get flanked very, very quickly if the defenders decide to push out. If you get to a map like Black Widow or maybe even Naval Base, that looks quite large as well. I don't think those flanks will be quite as easy, and if they want to play slower on their blacklist side, they may be able to, but still, they do need to make some adjustments and really bring everything they've got here to try and keep themselves alive.
Yeah, in aggressive FPS games, when you do see teams move quite quickly, timings are so important, and maybe some of these teams aren't 100% sure what timings they're seeing at the moment, particularly when we saw one team come out very aggressively. If you haven't seen that before, if you haven't had a chance to scrim against that, you know, with limited practice opportunity, it really can catch you by surprise.
Yeah, you're not going to know how to handle a surprise situation like that. So you're going to be relying almost entirely on the commands from your IGL.
Yeah.
And even under those circumstances, the IGL is probably not going to know how to handle that either. So if he falls apart, the entire team could very quickly just completely, fall into a mess. And unfortunately, that'll lead to you just getting run over time and time again. Yeah,
well, it's Tyloo up against OMG in a best of 3. This is the opportunity for both these teams to start making their way back. OMG went up against All Gamers in their first match, and well, All Gamers has now won 2 matches very quickly, so we really may have a very strong team here in OMG that perhaps they just weren't able to show us.
Yeah, very much the case, and I think in a best of 3, it's going to give them a good opportunity to have those individual players shine out once again. Not only that, we should hope it's the same thing for Tyloo as well, as if we don't see some of their more, slightly better performing players like Psy that had himself a good game at very minimum, if we aren't able to see those guys step up to the plate once again and everybody else has a very similar performance, the stars from OMG that had good starts in their game are unfortunately just going to run them over here.
Yeah, and of course the first time around, Kyle, we got to ban out maps that we didn't want to play. This time, it's a best of 3. There's only 3 maps in the map pool, boys and girls, so real potential here for something that you just don't want to play is going to come up.
Yeah, and I think Naval Base is that map for sort of everyone in this situation. Everyone's been avoiding it, but eventually you've got to be able to do it all if you want to make it all the way in this event. And right now I think OMG definitely looks like the team that could be out in front here. Just looking at their score against AG, they seem to almost actually put up a better fight than LGD had.
Yeah, correct. So that's the benefit, I suppose, of a double limb bracket, in that you don't just drop out. If you go against a team that ends up winning the day in your first round, sometimes that can be a little bit unlucky. But with the double elimination, with the best of 3 in the lower bracket, allows you, look, maybe a tougher road, but definitely an ability to fight back, an opportunity to come back head-to-head with the opponent you saw earlier on in the day, and then take them down, perhaps in a best of 3. I'm excited, Blue, to see Naval Base play out. Like Kyle said, maybe a bit of a difficulty for all of these teams. In that situation, perhaps the youth might come through.
Yeah, it's a new map, right? So strategy is not necessarily going to be the thing that sells teams to victory. At the end of the day, it's going to be the fragging potential. As I think a lot of this map is basically, a lot of that map, if and when we do eventually get to it, is going to be the team's leaders figuring out how exactly they want to play it strategically. So for a lot of those probably that entire first half on both sides, especially for the attackers, it's going to be trying to figure out how exactly is the best way to approach it. So they're going to be relying a lot on just individual entry power and the ability to successfully defend the sites as well, which is going to come down to a lot of the individualistics of those players.
Yeah, and if we go through some of the stats we saw earlier on, from our previous matches when we're talking about Tyloo. Obviously, they didn't have a very good start to the competition. Some of their players with negative AP. It was Sai up the top with 11 kills, 12 deaths, but 9 headshots. One of the only 2 players on that team to come out with a positive AP. So we're going to be looking a lot more than that to start things off. And it's going to be Naval Base as our first map here. No bans in this best of 3. Followed up by Eagle Eye. Oh my goodness, this really throws a bit of a spanner in the works, because that means that if we get to Black Widow, does that mean it's TDM?
I believe it does.
Yeah, I think that's the format here. So Black Widow in that situation would be quite interesting, but right now I'm even more excited to see what Naval Base has in store for us. Both teams seem to avoid it up till this point, but now they're going to be forced onto it to start off this series, and seeing how Tyloo struggled on Eagle Eye, I feel like they really need this first map if they want to bounce back in this series.
Yeah, they want to jump into it, that's for sure. Before we kick off the action, Blue, who's going to pick this one up?
I'm going to be going with OMG personally. I think Tyloo's opening performance was pretty poor, and I'm unsure about if they're going to be able to recover it appropriately.
Kyle?
I'm going to have to agree. OMG just seems like the better of these two teams going into it. They still were able to put up a fight against AG, who was the clear front runner out of all 4 teams in the start of this matches. So I really think it's going to be up to the guys on Tyloo to prove themselves here. They haven't shown us quite enough yet, and now's their chance.
Well, it's Tyloo up against OMG, a huge best of 3 here for Crossfire HD. The winner progresses, the loser is out.
All right, well, welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to start the best of 3s, and we're going to get right into it. We've already got OMG at one of the sites now in the opening round, and it's Ice Bear, the key fragger that we were seeing in OMG's previous matchup that gets off to a good start, but KSC starts to reverse things the other way pretty much instantly as well. Ice Bear will keep things afloat for OMG, though, as he finds a trade on his grenade.
And now things looking better and better for OMG as they do get the bomb down here. It's going to be Sai to try and lead the charge for his team on this retake once again. He was the successful one for Tyloo in their opening match. The rest of his team falling short here, but now has to win it in a 1v2 to make it happen. Struggling to hit the shots, though, as finally IEW comes in for the support there for OMG, but still looked a bit shaky there for a minute.
Regardless, though, it's still a good start for the guys on OMG to get things started. And once again, guys, this is the new map. This is going to be Naval Base. One of the new maps is going to be added in Crossfire HD. We are, I believe, somewhere in Eastern Europe. I can tell by the Cyrillic that was sitting over there. Nice little mix between new and old architecture, but as the players, once again, from OMG are basically just going to rush themselves right over towards the A site, and it seems to at least has partially worked. The problem is they lost their bomb in the process. It got picked halfway through. But BLYC is going to be able to quickly go back, pick it up, and try to plant it once again.
Tyloo, though, huge numbers advantage here. IEW and BLYC here, the last 2 alive in this 2v4 situation, but Tyloo, they're caught off guard by the positioning. It is going to be 1 player down. Still 3 to work their way through, but BLYC finds another one here. Things looking better and better, but Tyloo still trying to hold on, and they're going to make it happen here. The 2v2 going their way, and it's going to be tied right from the start. And looking at this map, though, that water seems to be the place everyone wants to avoid so far.
Yeah, it's going to make for a pretty interesting play style. A very high-risk, high-reward type of scenario if players do want to try and aggress through there. Obviously, leaving you completely open and susceptible to being shot at by Tyloo. It's not going to be optimal, so I imagine OMG will be trying to avoid it. A big rush into mid. Har will be trying to hold, and it works out to start. He finds a good opening pick on the flute, but he's still going to lose about half of his HP in the process, so he will have to be careful. The rest of the team, IEW, already rushing himself into A once again, but it'll be BLYC that picks up the kill. IEW will have to hold the front line at the ramp. Now he's down and out of this sight, and he will have a nice lineup to quickly pick up a kill, knocking out Dongji.
OMG looking much better in this round than in the previous one, but it's still going to be a 2-on-5 situation now for Tyloo. But Haru may have a chance to spot this player here. Not quite, though. IEW, though, finding yet another one in this round, making it a 1v5 situation for Lele. Not going to happen, though. IEW picks up another one to finish off this round. OMG continuing to bring forward their firepower here and put Tyloo to the test on Naval Base.
Lele quickly getting dispatched, of course, to close out. Was the 4v1 set against him, and OMG will continue to push their lead forward as a result of this too. Once again, it's going to be OMG that's able to walk directly up towards that A site and are continuing to dominate against the defensive setups here from Tyloo. Lele, though, and KSZ bring it back with two of their own trades to stop OMG's push towards the site.
Now Tyloo looking for the tie here. OMG still trying to find an opening to execute off of. They do have the C4 in the hands of Ice Bear here, who has been quite the monster at pushing them into these bomb sites and finding their control for them. They do need to be careful with this man disadvantage. Things could go wrong very quickly. OMG, though, working their way in for control, potentially try and get a plant off here, but they're still stuck in a tight spot, trying to find their way outside. Takes down Ice Bear. It's already a 2-on-4. Haru and here trying to find their openings, but it's still going to be a tough one to break into. Tyloo holds on to it nicely. KSC finds the opening pick, and the trades come through his side, finishes things off, and it's going to be tied up by Tyloo.
A closely traded affair indeed as OMG bring it down to the wire once again, but Tyloo also able to come out on top, equalize us as our rounds continue to go back and forth and back again. It's looking like OMG will throw some of their early pressure towards the A site. It's not all going to be based towards that site. However, they've got some presence that's going to be working its way out towards mid. KSZ looks to hold the line against players like BLYC. And another one of his opponents that are looking to push in here finds not just one, but two opening picks before getting traded up by Haru. Haru, though, will keep himself at full HP. Problem is they're now down a man as they try to push into this A site. Haru will actually trade himself out over to the AK and gets completely wiped by Lele when he tries to peek out from the computers.
Now left up to Tippy and Ice Bear here. The 2-on-4 situation not looking so good for OMG this time around. See if they can find their way out of it. Tyloo, though, locking things down, and they do have control over the C4 as well, making this a very difficult 2-on-4 indeed for Tippy and Ice Bear, who still look to try and find an opening here. It's been difficult for them to have any positional advantage in this fight.
It's going to be a slow walkout from Tippy, too. So he continues to try and waste down the time a little bit. He is going to use these rafters, though, which, as you can see, the players are able to use to circumnavigate the map a little bit more creatively, able to try and flank around some of the defensive setups that we might be seeing from Tyloo. No impact being made just yet, though, in the clutch situation here for OMG, as they try their best to bring it back. We are going to see Tippy try to get some nades out into the open, working as a bit of a distraction. Hopefully bring some of the members of Tyloo into the open, but it hasn't worked out just yet. Tyloo are continuing to play this incredibly passively as they wait for OMG, Ice Bear, and Tippy to make the first move.
Now just under a minute left to try and get their way onto one of these bomb sites. Looks like they want to head their way over towards A here. Tippy and Ice Bear, though, will be running into some trouble. Tyloo, two players set up here with a nice little cross setup on the A bomb site. Ice Bear, though, we'll see if he can lead in with these picks. The bomb going to be down on the ground here, but Ice Bear wants to try and grab hold of it, finding the opening pick here for this retake. Tippy finds another. This could be the 2v4 they were hoping for. It's going to be Ice Bear down to the wire, 1v1, and he has almost no HP to work with here. It's going to be on side to try and shut him down here, but Ice Bear looking to make it happen through the windows side. Cannot find the shots there, but eventually will connect and pick up Tyloo the round.
So there we go, another very, very close affair as OMG nearly bring the 2v4 back under their control all the way down to the 1v1, but Ice Bear not having the time or the positioning to be able to play out against Sai from Tyloo allows for him to close things down and put Tyloo into a leading situation now at 3-2. We talked about this before, though. We expect this, with the way the game has been playing out so far, to be a little bit more defensively sided, a little bit more global risk-sided. So as long as the blacklist side, OMG, are able to keep things relatively close in terms of a scoreline here, they still might have a very good chance moving into the second half.
Right now, we could see a quick fight, though. Ice Bear has to be careful. There's a player right on the edge of this wall, and he's going to find the shot. Ice Bear turns around at the opportune moment and connects and evens it up to a 4v4 here. Tyloo, though, still in a winnable situation. They've had a lot of success here in this opening half so far. OMG still looking to tie things up themselves if they can find this round. Ice Bear and Tippy, though, doing a lot of work in the previous round to try and keep it alive. They did fall short in the 1v1, but still showing a lot of prowess with their aim and how they executed on that retake. We'll see if they can bring that forward here. OMG in need of this round to try and keep things close.
Tippy's going to continue to work himself forward. A seems to be the site to play towards now, as we've been seeing pretty much every execute from OMG go over here. They haven't tried to hit the B site once, if my memory serves me correctly, but they are starting to figure out more and more routes to play around on this one. Tippy specifically just finding himself a vent to try and utilize now, which I think he's actually maybe going to be able to utilize to drop into that site. They need it as well. Tyloo so far have a strong hold against him. Look at this, it's worked out great for Tippy. Walks right in, and Tyloo don't even seem to know what hit them. A great pinch onto the site. Puts it down into a very close situation. A 2v1 eventually, though, goes Tyloo's way, as Dongji is able to hold from the inside of the site. Push Tyloo ahead now at 4-2.
OMG just not quite able to capitalize on the positioning advantage they had on that bomb site, and eventually Tyloo will shut them down and find themselves in a very winnable half now. Tyloo just one round away from securing this half. OMG still looking to try and find their way in to these bomb sites and get a bit more control over this map, but as we can see so far, the defense does have quite a few advantages here on this map, and OMG struggling to break through so far.
It's going to be, again, that bit of a slow windup. It doesn't look like OMG are finally going to try themselves a push onto the B site. It's not going so well to start. It takes them a lot of time just to be able to trade out a one-for-one exchange. But in the follow-up, things go a lot better. BLYC finding massive impact to cut off the rotators. A double kill for him, and he does good damage to a third as well, putting us into a 2v3 post-plant in the favor of OMG.
This is exactly what they needed here on the round. Finally, they do grab control of the bomb sites once again. Now it's all about the retake. Tyloo in a 2v3, trying to make this one happen, would keep them on top 5-2. Nice way to keep the half on their side, but right now it's looking actually pretty likely here. They find the opening, it's all on Ice Bear. The 1v2 clutch surely needed for OMG to try and get back into the fight here. Ice Bear, though, a very strong player in these clutch situations. Can he pull it off, though? 9 HP left, but it's not gonna matter. Dongji still gets it, and it's gonna be a big round for Tyloo to take an even greater lead. 5-2 now.
OMG falling behind after such a strong start for them, and in a way that we would have not expected to see as well. Coming so close in so many of these clutch rounds, but ultimately falling in a lot of 1vx's. And oftentimes it is Ice Bear is the player that is unable to close things out. His teammates, of course, unable to survive until the late round to begin with. And oftentimes putting just too much pressure onto Ice Bear to be able to close out in these situations. Now giving Tyloo a massive lead to play off of coming into towards the end of the half.
BLYC opens it up. Ice Bear finds another, and it's looking like a winnable one now for OMG. Sai, the last alive. 1v3, looking to try and keep his team even further in the lead if he can make this happen, but still, he is way out of position here. Has to try and rotate all the way through to the other bomb site. Definitely a tough position to try and retake from, but still, we'll see if he can make it happen. Tyloo having a lot of success on retakes so far, and Sai, he may have an opening to sneak in behind a couple players here. IEW with his back turn has no idea here. Sai spots him early, misses the shot. Unfortunate mistakes were made there, but OMG definitely needed that one, and they pick it up.
Yep, so IEW is able to hold off on his own regard, and as you can see, it's Ice Bear that's showing up as the massive impact fragger here so far for the guys on OMG as they look to push ahead, as they look to get themselves back into the game, and they've done just that now, putting up a 5-3 scoreline heading into the second half.
Now we'll see if defense truly remains supreme here in Crossfire HD. So far it seemed such, but only time will tell if they can remain on top for Tyloo as well, who are trying to close this one out. They only need 4 rounds to make that happen, but as we've seen, the Blacklist sides do have some struggles here. Right now, OMG looking for the opening pick. Haru going to be sniping to try and find that. KSZ sniping for Tyloo, trying to match him here. Nobody peeking out just yet, though, for Tyloo. Just trying to hold these angles and make some impact here before they go in for an execution.
Sai and the rest of Tyloo splitting up as well. Not necessarily going for any type of conjoined push early on. Who's going to make himself across the bridge? And a pretty easy push there. And I think he's going to take the rafters as well to try and wrap back around and cut off a pinch on towards the A site. B's been incredibly underutilized, but Ice Bear is right into this. He's been the one that's been innovating a little bit, trying to play some fun positions on the map. He's done that once again, and he'll try to cut off any further players that would try to sneak over towards the windows and jump in to surprise him as well.
OMG holding strong once again as Tippy finds the pick on the side. It's going to be a 3-on-5 situation. See if somehow Tyloo can find their way into this, or if defense will continue to remain on top on this map. Tyloo, though, still looking for that opening now, trying to sneak their way in potentially towards this A bomb site. 2 players for OMG going to be locking it down. BLYC leading the charge, but KSC finds one of his own, but BLYC still able to hold on and trade, takes down one. It's going to be a 4-on-2 situation now. Things looking good for OMG to find themselves the first round of the half.
Well, BLYC will have to continue to hold towards the store. It's likely he's going to have more pressure coming his way in just a second as the 2 remaining Blacklist members attempt to push in, but it's BLYC shutting it all down and giving a very decisive round over to OMG to start off the half.
And that's exactly what they needed to get things just a little bit closer here. 1 round away from a tie now. Tyloo, though, they're going to have to find their footing quickly on their Blacklist side. Otherwise, this map could fall away from them and right back into OMG's hands here, who have so far looked pretty solid on the defense, but only 1 round here to really gauge. So we'll see if they can continue to hold strong.
C4's gone down early on as Tyloo again are going to leave their options open. Still trying to figure out the map. Still trying to decide exactly how they want to play this. So they are going to try and look into options towards both sites. Unlike what we saw from OMG, where it was really just gung-ho into the A site for the first 3-4 rounds of the half. And oftentimes that was working until we finally saw Tyloo figure out how to properly defend the site.
Tyloo, though, going back for the C4 now. Look potentially ready to execute here, but as we can see, OMG once again playing some nice off angles to potentially catch these players off guard. Has been a lot of their success here so far on the global risk half. See if they can maybe catch someone here. Tippy going to be sniping down through the backside of mid here on a nice little cheeky position to try and find somebody to catch them off guard here. But still, Tyloo very hesitant on the push themselves. Side trying to feel out these defenders' positions. He hasn't found anyone just yet.
It's going to be Tippy. Oh, does catch the little jump across the bridge. As he spots players from Tyloo trying to move in towards mid. It's Sai, first time in a while, finding decent impact to secure the B site at least partially. Dongji and the others are going to try to pinch onto the site too, although the pinch not really working inside of the supply room. The trade's going evenly, and most importantly, bringing us into a 3 versus 3. Now favored for Tyloo, though, as they pick up 2 more kills, and it falls to BLYC to clutch it out for OMG, and he's not going to get it done. Sai shuts it down. Tyloo will remain in the lead at 6-4.
Tyloo now finding their footing here on the Blacklist. Half nicely done. Sai kicking it off as well to get a good round on the board now. They do maintain the lead, but it's not over just yet for OMG. Still time to bounce back themselves and have a solid defense. Ice Bear, definitely one of the stronger players on this defense, but right now it's going to be BLYC finding one, but it's immediately traded with a double kill. And things once again looking good for Tyloo as KSC finds them one as well. It's going to be up to Tippy and Ice Bear to try and bring this one back in a 2-on-3.
2 of them are going to be positioned in separate spots on the map here too. Ice Bear a little bit more in the open. Tippy playing it back. Ice Bear as well, not expecting Flute to get himself into the open so early on. Tippy's able to hold his ground, but only just barely. You can see he's down at 9 HP, playing against Sai and KSZ, who are at max HP right now. It's not too much of a problem for KSZ to cut him out while he's in the open, so it's Tyloo cutting ahead now. Just 2 more rounds away from closing out the first map of the series.
Huge step-ups coming in this map from Tyloo. Everyone across the board starting to play a little bit better here on this map. I'm not sure if it's maybe just the new map throwing difficulty in the face of OMG, or if it's truly just aim duels going their way as well for Tyloo. Right now, though, BLYC finds the opener, making a double kill. Finally, the trades come through, but OMG still holding strong here. KSZ, though, able to finally take down BLYC. The opening is there for Tyloo to try and sneak in, but they don't have the players to make it happen just yet. Sai very low on HP as well, just down to 8 here, trying to survive. KSZ, though, has to make the impact.
KSC going to be positioned far back and away from the push against Ice Bear too as he continues to hold the rough bridge. Tippy inside of the server room. He's going to get knocked out by KSC. IEW is there for the trade, though. Brings us into a final 1 versus 1 to determine the outcome of this round. And for OMG, it's a must-win. They've fallen too far behind, and correct myself, there is still a second player alive still for OMG. Apologies, it's IEW, but at very, very low HP. Thankfully, the same is true for Sai on the other end of the equation. He's got less than 10 to play with in his own regard here. He'll have to try and find some way to clutch this out. And it started off quite well. He's found a free route over towards the B bomb site. No coverage on it for the guys from OMG. They decided to play a little bit risky by having 2 players stacked over at the A site.
We'll see if he can do it, though. 8 HP. Incredibly difficult to win this 1v2. Has to have 2 perfect headshots in order to win it. Bomb, though, planted in his favor, but still, if there's any nades to come back his way, that could be the end as well for Psy to go down. IEW and Ice Bear, though, 2 solid players here for OMG, but look at this positioning. He's going to get caught. Ice Bear spots him there through the corner of the window, and OMG get a much-needed round to answer back and potentially bring us closer to a tie here.
And so OMG survive. They are able to sustain for at least 1 additional round, and most importantly, they stop Tyloo from getting themselves onto map point. Now they've got a chance to come back into this and potentially even win this in regulation for themselves here. Keep going into the next round, as Tyloo will look to regain control relatively quickly. On their attacking side, though, which has proven to be a little bit more difficult. Flahoo pushes himself to the inside of the water, which is an area where we haven't seen a whole lot of players decide to utilize yet due to how limiting makes your ability to fight back. But Flahoo won't be able to catch too much here. Ice Bear lays a little bit closer to the hallway towards the supply room. He's just now moved into the window room. He'll try to catch out players like Flahoo if they end up trying to push on that catwalk leading to the windows where Ice Bear is positioned.
Tyloo, though, still in a great position, 2 rounds away from closing out this first map. It is a best of 3, though, so still either team can walk away with it, but OMG having some struggles here on Naval Base, rightfully so. This is the more difficult map, seeing as most of these teams generally are the least experienced on it, and it's definitely starting to show a bit. Tyloo, though, loses the opener. It will be Ice Bear in a great position here to try and catch more players off guard if Tyloo's not careful.
Well, time's going to continue to tick down regardless here. Thankfully, plenty of it still remains due to the faster-paced nature that these rounds have been having. Tyloo, however, not able to find an avenue to play off of just yet here. OMG have been doing a great job of holding off a lot of the hard points, and they're going to continue to do that. Paro with a nice strike, but Lele responds back elsewhere on the map. IEW is still trying to snipe some players with the AK from across the bay as well. Of course, is not finding as much luck here at this point. Down into a 4v3. OMG hold the advantage. As Tyloo, we're getting low on time. We'll need to see them make a move relatively soon.
Still looking for the opening here is Ice Bear playing on the windows, hoping he can catch these players off guard. He's looking pretty good KD-wise, 13-8 on this map. One of the strong presences for his team, but he's going to get caught off guard. KSZ, nice shot there, takes him out. It's going to be even to a 3-on-3. Tyloo looking to potentially start the close of this map and get themselves back in dominating position here. Another one goes into their favor as well. Psy able to find one and get the bomb down here. 3v2 now for the retake. IEW and BLYC trying to feel this pressure back.
Hop out coming in from both of them now, as IEW and BLYC try to go for a barnstorming retake onto the B site. We're not going to be seeing that just yet, however. Lele and Psy with good positions established to try and hold off against this retake, and Lele gets himself the first fight. KSZ still on the wraparound too, so even if BLYC gets this trade, he's going to have a surprise coming in on his backside in a second. Successfully finds the pickup. He also reads in to the follow-up from KSZ here, but it's still very difficult to make it past. This gets the job done anyway, though, with the Deagle. Finds another pickup, and now he just has Psy to deal with. Psy, though, it's been so hard to take care of, and as well, BLYC's at incredibly low HP, but Psy doesn't want to move, and BLYC gets it done! The 1v3, unfortunately, no time left to defuse, so we will still see the round get picked up by OMG, and there'll be one more round away from closing out the first map.
Great work there, just playing the clock exactly how they needed to, and Psy just barely able to win it on time there for Tyloo. Now on to their first chance to close out this map, but it is still a best of 3. They'd go up 1-0 though in this series and have a nice shot at making it forward onto the next round of the lower bracket here. Psy stepping it up for his team though, has made some solid impact, but still OMG a team that could answer back, but Psy opens up the round and may have just begun the end here on map number 1.
Holds his own on the bridge, now he's going to continue to move out on the site while the rest of his teammates rotate in. That's the problem though, they're still incredibly far away, and it's Ice Bear that he had to go up against next. Ice Bear will successfully pick up the trade over against Psy, and then immediately throws Tyloo the other direction. The problem is though, IEW moved out in the meanwhile. It's 2 quick kills for him. He'll also get traded out by KSZ, bringing us into a 2 versus 3, favoring OMG.
Tyloo, though, still a chance to close here. Down to the 2-on-3. We'll see if they can make it happen. Ice Bear, though, potentially to spot the final player as Haru finds himself a kill there onto KSZ. See if it can be a 1v3 or it will be a bust here. Potentially Ice Bear, though, caught off guard, but still hits the shot. Somehow walking away with that 1v1 to hold on to the round there. And now OMG, they do pick up another 2 to tie it, though.
So OMG keep themselves in it once again. As you mentioned, 2 more, tying this up and potentially sending us into an overtime, which would should be very exciting to see on the very first day that we're showing off Crossfire HD. Tyloo, on the other hand, such a promising start for them, but have been unable to pick up a large enough amount of rounds on their attacking side. The Blacklist has not been kind to them at the beginning of this map. So they are going to have to continue to look for any route they might be able to utilize to shut things down. Unlike OMG, they've been willing to play towards both sites as well. OMG was really hard strung on these A takes into the server room, but we're not seeing the same circumstances being deployed. Tyloo definitely seem to favor the other site with a very rare take tending to happen at A every once in a while.
OMG still a chance to fight for this map to be their own. Tyloo, though, just on the close, trying to find their way to finish them off. Hasn't happened for them just yet. KSZ trying to get the opening pick with the sniper in his hands. He's got that on. See if he can make some impact. OMG, though, 5 AKs across the board here to try and just stall things out with. Tippy, very silent in this matchup, though, looking for his first. Try and go big in the round. Right now, though, Tyloo playing very, very slow here, just trying to drain out the resources of these defenders. But look at BLYC's score here, 21-9, picks up frag 22, taking down a nice player there. IEW finds another, but Lele, he's already answered back. This could be the end here for Tyloo on map number 1 now, as they narrow it to a 3v3, and they'll get the bomb down here.
The server push has been successful, and now, though, Haru going to be coming in, but Lele again holding the line. Sai on the outside, able to shut down a second. It's down to Ice Bear, the big man on the team here, to keep OMG in the fight. It's not looking good, though, as well he does take out Lele. The trade comes in. Tyloo will hold control after a dominating start from their defending side. They'll push through on the attack and take control of map number 1 of the series.
Overall, Tyloo just stepping up to the plate here. Night and day performances from them compared to their first match, and they show it here. And a chance to keep fighting forward against OMG and potentially take this series 2-0 now.
There from Tyloo. It's what we wanted to see, boys, wasn't it? We said, well, you know, maybe it's going to be, maybe the newer map is going to be the one that suits a team of, you know, fresher players. And in this instance, that was definitely the case. A good win for them as well. Was it based on sides? Was it because they started on the correct side, or do you think that they just outplayed in this situation?
I think they just purely outplayed them. The sides didn't seem to matter a whole too lot. OMG just didn't seem quite as comfortable on this map, and you can tell Tyloo really studied it and came out with some new strategies to catch them off guard.
Tyloo, I think, were willing to innovate a little bit more on their attacking side, and that's ultimately what allowed them to take the victory at the end of the day, willing to play towards that B side a little bit more, whereas for OMG, it was really just let's hit the A side over and over and over again. To be fair, very close to their spawn, so they could kind of just leap right into it before their opponents could even establish position a lot of the time, and that, I think, was why OMG was so keen on doing that for the early portions of their attacking half. But I believe Tyloo realized that wasn't always going to be the winning solution, so they tried to go for much slower play and oftentimes use the secondary site as an option to execute on as well.
Well, we came into this game thinking that maybe this would be the point where a team like OMG, you know, who did pretty well against all gamers in their first match, maybe they would outclass this Tyloo matchup, but clearly not the case. So that throws everything out the window now. I'm actually quite excited. We have a real game on our hands as we head into map number 2 very shortly, and we'll see how these more experienced, more tenured maps, I suppose, maps that we're used to seeing teams play on. Now that we move across to those, as we slowly do move across to Black Widow, how that might play in the favor of a team like OMG.
Yeah, I think OMG still has that advantage when you look at Eagle Eye and Black Widow. As the 2 maps coming up, they're going to feel much more comfortable, I think, on those 2 maps. They just looked sort of out of position and out of place a lot of the time here on the Naval Base. They weren't winning aim duels. They were really, really slow on their retakes. But on a map where you're more familiar, that's not like super likely to happen for them, I feel.
Whatever the result, they're going to need to be ready if they do come up against a team like LGD. Look at that, KZ coming out 18-14 with an AP of 12. Look, those aren't insane scores, though, so it just indicates to me that the entirety of Tyloo really played well then. It was a whole team effort.
Yeah, it was definitely a pretty accurate statement. I don't think we really had one player shining outside, I think having himself a couple of clutch moments, but still, the rest of his teammates were keeping up this time. That was the key factor. It was much more of a team effort than an individual effort to allow Tyloo to take that map at the end of the day.
Yeah, and that's what you want to see. That's what we spoke about earlier on this week when we were talking about CFS 2018 for Crossfire. That either you have a team of champions and, you know, when that's the case, maybe 1 or 2 people can drop off. But if you have a team that's coming together, maybe not, there isn't 1 or 2 players that can carry you through. You all need to turn up on the day. And game number 1, it felt like maybe Tyloo wasn't ready. But this time around, they were keen and ready to get into it. Sounds to me, gentlemen, like we're heading across to our next map. It's snow time with Tyloo versus OMG on Eagle Eye.
So into the Swiss Alps we're going to go, and it's back over towards Eagle Eye now to see if we might just be able to have Tyloo pull off the 2-0. They're going to be starting on attack this time, though, so they might find that a little bit hard, as this is where they struggled on the previous iteration of this map being played out. It's not the case this time, though. Look at this! Tyloo absolutely destroying OMG, leaving no one alive except IEW to try and somehow pull off what is now a 1v5 clutch. He's already been spotted by Blahoo as well. And Blahoo, along with Lele, are going to be able to work together to quickly take him down and put Tyloo onto the board early here.
And that may have been one of the fastest rounds we've seen the entire event really so far. Honestly, Tyloo, just complete change of pace here has paid off in their favor. No longer afraid on their attacking side, showing us the fearlessness we had hoped from them right from the get-go, and now this could be enough to push them through to a potential 2-0 here. Lele once again opens things up. They're going to go right onto the B-bomb site. OMG, no defense in sight here. They can't seem to hold on, not finding the connections they need to on these shots. Tyloo, though, looking to try and steamroll once again into another round here, but really, OMG, got to be careful in this situation, but the rotation has come through. Look how many OMG players are already on this B-bomb site. Tyloo now running straight into a trap.
Blahoo is also stuck is the problem. Normally you would have expected them to rotate away from this by this point, but that's not what's happening. Also, even if we do see a counter-rotate, Ice Bear still has presence on that A site to hold these guys off. I do like the hold, though, from Tyloo. They're not panicking just yet. They're not overreacting in any sense. They're still keeping their presence known here. And this is allowing for quite a few players from OMG to potentially rotate back over to the other site, leaving it more vulnerable for re-aggression to come from Tyloo. BLYC is going to see it here in a second as he holds a safe position from the inside of the gondola, and Timpe is able to knock out the first attempt at a push from Sai as the rest move in.
And right now, BLYC, he's using this window to just call positioning for his teammates while he stays alive. It's going to be a nice position to hold on to if he can. Finds a shot there as well. Nice reaction there. It's already going to be a 4v3 now. Things looking better and better for OMG to try and hold on here. But Tyloo, they're ready to strike back here. Lele finds himself a second pick of the round. BLYC, though, still alive. Holding on to this positioning has been so key in this round.
He's going to walk right up. However, it looks like he's been noticed by Haru at the very last moment. Could have been such an impactful play, too, as unfortunately Tyloo were just unable to deal with BLYC inside of the gondola, giving his team so much info to play off of, and no one could seem to force him out of there. They didn't have nades to appropriately deal with it, as we do see Ice Bear shutting out the last man standing for Tyloo, eliminating Lele, and tying us up at 1-1.
And now OMG, this is their chance to answer back here on map number 2, a map we figured they may be a little bit better in their performance on, but still Tyloo, they had such an aggressive start. We'll see if they can keep that up, but right now it looks like they may go for another aggressive play once again, sending a lot of players towards B-long already. Tyloo looking to continue that aggression. They don't want to run into the trouble of being flanked as they were in their first showing on this map, and right now they may have the adjustments needed to still push forward here.
The round will continue to play out for Tyloo as they take hotel control early on. Once again, they're getting that nice, easy walk-up to start things off. OMG, we take a look at their overall defensive playstyle, playing things a little bit more slowly. And oh, a different weapon coming into play here as well for OMG is they're going to be trying things out. Trying out some of the new guns that might potentially have. We'll see how well this works. IEW this time is going to be playing on the inside of the gondola to try to hold things off. And so far, he's done a great job at the window. Makes it so easy to spot these players that are trying to move in against him. Lele able to pick one, but IEW over to the pistol now. Finds himself a second pick as they just cannot seem to get past the player on the inside of the gondola. Haru, though, with two. And then one more kill picked up by Tippy to close it down for OMG as they take the lead, 2-1.
And right now, that gondola position being the downfall here for Tyloo, just finding no way past it here. They may need to revert and go back towards these A bomb site takes, but B seems to be eager for them to try and take control of. IEW, though, gets caught out. KSZ gets the opening pick. We'll see if OMG has the response, but right now, Tyloo may have what they need to go in for the attack here. Sai, once again, though, going to be using that M14. Not something we've seen too much, but BYC, again, in the gondola, gets the double. The assist there from Tippy as well, and once again, they hold on to this position, and Tyloo, they have no response here.
Just use some nades would be the immediate solution in my eyes, or just hold back, play a little bit more slowly. Yes, he's going to be able to see you approaching, but if you chuck a frag grenade in there, obviously they're not going to be able to hold it confidently. So, unfortunately, the guys on Tyloo have just not been able to figure that out just yet. There is going to be a nade thrown out by KSZ, but in the direct wrong position here. So BLYC will throw out the smoke of his own to restrict KSZ from being able to make this push forward. Regardless, though, as he moves himself up to the top, I think it's going to be present. Spots him through the window, waving hello as well. Won't be able to do much about it at this point.
It's almost a little bit of a taunt there to see a player you can't actually go in and headshot. You have to run in, and he still finds a way to take you down. BLYC once again holding that position, and Tyloo, they need to rethink their setups here, not having any success over towards this B bomb site. They really need to try and work their way A now, and maybe even to some potential mid control. But Sai, he's going to be trying to do just that, working his way once again over towards A long here. Tippy not able to connect in mid on a shot. It's going to be a little slower here for Tyloo now as they try and rethink their setup.
So Tyloo will be taking a slower approach to things. They've gone towards mid instead on the opening seconds of the round. Potentially to try and move in and take the tower. We talked about this when we played this map originally. There's a pretty well-positioned tower for the attacking team that allows them to get access to view actually pretty much the entire A site, along with a little bit of vision towards B2. But it's a bit of a risk versus reward scenario, as you do also have to deal with pressure from the A site. And of course, they're going to be keeping, the defending team's going to be keeping eyes on it from the site itself. So it may not always be worth it to take such a heavy risk, as you could find yourself immediately getting picked upon climbing up the tower. It looks like Tyloo is going to try to throw pressure towards the A site this time, however, as B, unfortunately, is just not working out for them. They just cannot seem to find a way to get past that gondola.
OMG still locking things down across the board here. No clear entry in sight just yet. Sai trying to force his way up towards the A bomb site. Not going to happen just yet, though. iSpare going to be playing patiently here, looking for the trades. Can't find anything just yet, though. Sai gets the opening here for Tyloo. And they may just have an entry onto the A bomb site now. iSpare still trying to hold on here. Has not a whole lot of vision to work with, but he finds the shot here. Looks for the trade. Not going to happen, though. Still, things looking positive for Tyloo on the round. Sai finds himself another, and Dongji closes it out. And it's going to be Tyloo finding a second round, and now one away from a tie here.
So it is that tower site that seems to work out a little bit better for Tyloo. They're 2 for 2 on it in terms of when they've attacked it so far. The other side of the coin over towards B, not so much the case. They still have to figure out how exactly to get past that gondola push. Might be a pinch through mid that could be the option too, to try and cut things off from there. Problem is, that's oftentimes where OMG is focusing a lot of their defense towards. So for now, Tyloo's going to be sticking with the A assault as they go directly forward on this round.
We'll see if it works out. They've been 2 for 2 on making it happen on the A bomb site. And maybe that's the reason that OMG is starting to rotate in here. They're going to try and collapse, but they're very scared of this attack here. iSpare not even able to peek out from his position. He's stuck in the corner. He goes down to Lele. The trade comes through from Haru, but it's still going to be Tyloo holding onto this bomb site. IEW on the rotation does find one onto Dongji. It's still a 2v2. Tyloo, slight HP disadvantage here, but they still hold onto the site.
BLYC and IEW trying to hold out for OMG, but it's a similar story on the side of Tyloo. KSZ, far too aggressive, will be caught in the open by BLYC, and he'll get the double kill to close out the round and keep OMG in control now.
OMG still looking strong on this half, but Tyloo still having a much better showing on Eagle Eye than their first appearance was. So we'll see if they can find their way into a few more rounds, and maybe they can bring it back on their defensive half as well. Tyloo, though, still looking for the opening pick here. Lele pretty successful in the past couple rounds in finding that for them, but still it's always BLYC trading it back and winning these rounds for OMG from his passive positions.
Again, Tyloo going to be trying to throw a little bit of pressure towards mid. That the mid door is exactly where we do have Wahoo trying to look for a path forward. I talked about before, one of the keys to victory towards that B site might be mid control, since it allows you backwards access towards the gondola, where you could potentially pick off the player from OMG that's been such a nuisance to Tyloo's pushes. However, it doesn't look like Tyloo are really looking to commit themselves to either site just yet. They're keen on playing down the timer and trying to play this a little bit more strategically.
OMG gets the opening here, though it's going to be Haru finding the first of the round onto Sai. 5-on-4 now for OMG, trying to push this one into a third map, which would be Black Widow here as the decider. Right now, Tyloo looking for the recovery, though, finds a pick in mid. It's going to be BYLC going down, and now the opening towards A. They look to strike once again. Tyloo having a lot of success here over towards the A bomb site. It's all down to IEW and Tippy to try and hold on here. 2v4, but IEW, he's already found one on the retake. Tippy going to try and get in tower. A nice retake potential position here if he can hit the shot. Looking for the planter here. Will he find it, though? Tyloo has to be careful. Tippy going for the risky play here. Won't find the shot, and now they know exactly where he is. But he gets the follow-up here, 2v2, and somehow Tyloo are starting to struggle.
Decent amount of time still left as well for OMG to get themselves back into the fray. The smoke will come into their way as they try to push themselves forward at the window, though. Tippy leads the charge. KSE's taking down his teammate, and on the Deagle, will not only knock out him, but Tippy as well to close down the route for Tyloo.
And now they still have a chance to take this half back into their hands. 2 needed to make that happen, but we've seen a much stronger Tyloo in this match so far, and they're looking to continue that strength forward here right now. OMG, though, going for some aggressive plays here over towards B, potentially to try and pick out one of these players over towards B long. Tyloo, though, in a great position to tie now. All they need to do is keep having solid executions over towards that A bomb site. OMG has had no answer in this A control play coming out from Tyloo. They don't even need to think about B as long as this A keeps working.
Tyloo are looking for the 2-0 closeout if at all possible here. And an even score at halftime might just be the way to accomplish it due to how defensively sided we saw this map play out in a previous matchup. A 1-for-1 exchange. 1 from Tippy and 1 from Sai will be the way that the round starts off. Ice Bear inside a radio hall, though, is able to put it back in his team's favor. The rest of Tyloo a little bit scared to throw their pressure forward, so he's going to go a bit more quiet again.
Tyloo, though, still with that opportunity to tie. They're going to be looking for it here. KSZ, bomb in hand, still trying to find a pick here from A Long. Not going to connect anything onto Ice Bear there, who will back off, playing this one a little bit more passive. Tyloo, though, still looking for the opening. It looks like they may finally go back over towards this B bomb site, and this is where they need to have some sort of clean utility to try and work their way into taking out this gondola position that has been such a detriment to their success in this entire map so far. They haven't had any answer to taking this position, and look, there's 2 players in it this time around. That could spell a huge difficulty here for Tyloo.
2 players on the inside. That also could be 2 players that would get naded out if Tyloo want to try and throw their weight at it. As we are going to see, it's once again Tyloo that's going to be aggressing towards the A site instead. It takes him a moment, but Lele gets that opening pick. Goes for the second as well. A quick double kill for him. Ice Bear and Tippy, 2 of the most impactful players from OMG, now down on the ground, but it's also IEW and BLYC, who's already had himself a massive performance too. However, man advantage to Tyloo is going to be looking dangerous as Dongji moves into middle. He's actually out hunting right now instead of playing into the site as they take down one of the 2 remaining OMG players.
And this is exactly what Tyloo was hoping for. They take a tie now on the scoreboard here, 4-4. They struggled a little bit to get things going over towards B, but they swing back towards A, and things are looking possible for them to take the 2-0 sweep here in this first round of the lower bracket, this first best of 3 here as well. Tyloo, full redemption here. And now it's all up to OMG to try and shut them down as we go into what could be potentially a tough road ahead if Tyloo doesn't find this way to close it out quickly.
Well, for Tyloo, let's take a look and see if they're going to be as good at holding their positions on that B site. As I believe that would be the route that OMG want to take at the start. They move in through the broken pit inside of the hotel to start things off. However, they're playing it slow besides that. However, take a look at Tyloo. They're getting a little bit more adventurous towards the middle portion of the map. They do want to try and play for kills early on. It's going to be an evenly traded affair, though. 1-for-1 exchange between both players. Even relatively even damage, but no. Tyloo continue to assert their advantage as KSC down the long angle finds another pick and an additional kill as well to knock out BLYC.
And now there is a flank coming through as well from Dongji. He's going to find one. Things looking better and better for Tyloo to potentially take the lead back into their hands and potentially close this series as well on a high note. IEW, though, a 1-on-3 here, has to be careful. He's already taken down by Lele. And just like that, Tyloo, they are back on top and looking primed to close this one out with the 2-0 sweep.
The momentum, unfortunately, from OMG is slowly going to start to shift out of their favor as Tyloo get off to an incredibly strong start on their global risk side. 4 more rounds, and they have control over the series in a 2-0 fashion and will knock OMG out as the first team to be eliminated here at our Crossfire event.
OMG looking to try and recover here. Tyloo, though, in a great position in this overall series right now. All they need is just 4 solid rounds, and they will have a match victory for themselves. Tippy already taking a lot of damage in this round as well. Tyloo still holding on to that HP advantage. No players even taking a hit yet. Sai, though, looking for the opening from A Long, trying to find one of these 4 players pushing out in his direction. Has to be careful, though. It's going to be potentially Ice Bear pushing through, but the flank comes already from Tippy on the back of Sight, and that's going to be a big opening for OMG, as they should be able to get the plan off here.
So, OMG with control over the B site to try and play off of, or I believe this is the A site, excuse me. But regardless, we'll see the plant go onto the ground of the tower site. Now it's going to be up to Tyloo to retake. Dongji, probably the wrong weapon to use in this tower right here. He'll fall himself downstairs and instead support his teammates with some long-range utility. Problem is, OMG have lurkers off the site right here. It's Haru. That's going to be able to easily clip off Dongji and prevent him from doing anything else within the site. But the site players themselves, they're finding a little bit more impact. Lele starts it off. Ice Bear and BYLC are able to shut down the retake, however, leaving only KSC in the fray, and not for long. BLYC will knock him out. OMG quickly equalize the scoreline after a good start from Tyloo.
OMG still the opportunity on the table to take this into map 3, but Tyloo, they have stepped it up here in this series so far. We'll see if they can hold on. They are on the more favorable side in this situation to be in, but if they can have a solid attack, OMG still have some fight left to take this one all the way into Black Widow. Right now, Tyloo, though, still continuing to play a bit more aggressive on their defensive half, pushing forward into hotel control here. It's going to be Dongji looking for the opener. Right now, Tyloo playing forward positioning, but still passive angles here as they look to try and get the opening pick in the hands of KSZ here, who's just patiently watching this A-long position, hoping that someone's going to cross into the site.
Hope won't get you very far, unfortunately. It'll have to be wall-placed positions from Tyloo. They'll need to shut down OMG relatively quickly before they find themselves in this game. It's going to be a good start for them, though. Haru is able to move in and knock out Plahoot early on. Maybe not all that left in terms of defense. However, I didn't even realize it. Dongji with the position inside of the hotel will go 1 for 1. It's Ice Bear, though, that makes sure that OMG stay ahead. This gondola position may prove to be hard to get past, as now a flank's coming in from Sai at the back of hotel. He moves in, is able to knock out BLYC. Haru, of course, also falling from the earlier fight. And KSC getting incredibly aggressive, moves himself forward. Another 1-for-1 exchange will put us into a 2v2.
Ice Bear gonna force the plant here, already down to 28 HP. Has to be a bit careful here. The rotation's already coming through Sai and Lele trying to get this retake to go their way. Tyloo relying on them to try and grab this round. Tippy and Ice Bear, though, still very strong players to try and hold on, but Lele already finds one onto Tippy. Sai sneaks up from behind. All he has to do is finish off this last remaining player, but Ice Bear holds on, gets the double kill, and OMG, they find the round.
So we are going to see OMG cut ahead now on the attacking side. It's they who are the only team that seem to be able to know how to use this gondola properly, whether it's attacking or defending side. It just seems like an absolute hard lockdown point that neither team is able to retake for whatever reason here. OMG will keep the pressure on. They're going to try to force their weight over towards A to start things off. Sai knows they're close, but he's also ready for that fight. It's only going to be able to get one this time, though. The immediate trade comes in from IAW. But OMG are down a player. Good news is they have control of the top portion of the site. With that, Tyloo might find a few of their players running into a gauntlet if they try to retake too quickly. Haru with a quick pick. The problem is he's not expecting a second player to move in, so Lele will be able to jump back in relatively quickly to be able to find the trade. Now it's down to 2 for OMG. IEW and BLYC trying to hold on to the site, and Lele single-handedly pulling off this retake right now. Him and KSZ will pick up the last 2 kills, and with plenty of time left to defuse, of course, Tyloo will tie us up again at 6-6.
Things surely getting down to the wire here, but Tyloo still with that chance to take the 2-0 win here in this overall match. OMG fighting for their life and keeping this one close. They have to be careful, though. The defensive side does have that nice advantage of holding on to that gondola position, and as we saw, though, OMG, if they get a hold of it, they have a chance at winning these rounds, but now Tyloo locking up the defenses as Dongji's already pushed out and has mid-control. They know exactly where these players are headed now.
Blue, on the other hand, having a hotel position. If he remained in that spot, would have been able to find great impact, but no, he gets forced out to the bridge where he actually walks right into a kill against one of the members of OMG. More are going to try to work their way in as they do have solid control inside of the gondola. Lele trying to catch this player on the way out. It's not so easy, though. In the meanwhile, another trade's come out from OMG. Lele finally dealing with Ice Bear as he's moved into the gondola, and I think that Tyloo has finally figured this out. They're holding on the inside of the gondola themselves, but they want to be aggressive. They want to continue to force the issue, and it'll work out. Tyloo with 3 players standing, excuse me, at the end of the round, will take control, pushing up to 7.
Now this is their chance to close. 2 rounds away from victory. It's Tyloo here. We may have doubted them, but they've proved us wrong here so far in this series, and they may just be able to close it out with a victory here. OMG, though, still chances to adapt here, chances to find their way back into it and keep their tournament life alive. They need to be careful. Look at this positioning here. BLYC has no idea that Tyloo are so forward aggressive in this. He has to be careful to check his positioning. If he does go out here, I'd almost assume he's dead at this point.
BLYC being incredibly careful about the way he plays this, and Plahoo incredibly patient in the way that he takes his approach to this round being played out. He's going to position himself behind the step walkout. And again, he's waiting for someone on OMG to take an aggressive stance on the outside. But I don't think we'll be seeing that. In fact, BLYC has now completely fallen back and away from this position. So no chance at all to catch a lurking player from Tyloo early on. What we are going to see happening, though, is OMG will go for their solidified push, and Plahoo will get himself back in a good position, and he'll complete his flank and take out Tippy before he gets to the site. IEW, though, with a good walk onto the site, but Dongji reverses it. A triple kill from him to knock out most of the push from OMG, leaving only Haru in the fight. He's in the 1v3, though, and he's already started some good work. Excuse me, the 1v4, bringing it down to a 1v2 now. Moving up, next target he'd look to catch will be Plahoo. The only problem for Haru is that C4 on the ground. Still has to look to retrieve it at some point. Reads into the flight from Lele. He's unable to stop him at this point. The news that he has been pinched, that he can adjust his play style, but he'll get flashed out, and Lele will close down the round, putting Tyloo on map and match point.
And this is it. Tyloo once again swings back thanks to Dongji there, who brought them onto this match point opportunity. A huge hold from him, 3 kills, preventing that push from going out of hand, and it could be the end here. KSC gets the opener, Flu finds another, and it's going to be down to just a couple players left on OMG to keep it alive here. Make it one single player, Tippy, a 1v3. This could be the end for OMG, unless he has the answer here. Tyloo surely in a position to close this one out. They're collapsing in on his position. Tippy trying to force his way out, trying to keep the dream alive, but he can't find the shots to do it here. Finally connects onto one player, but the trade comes through, and Tyloo move on and keep themselves alive here. But unfortunately, it's now the end of the road as OMG go down 2-0 to Tyloo.
So OMG will be our first team to be eliminated here at our Crossfire event, and for Tyloo, they survive. They'll get to move themselves forward into the lower bracket finals, where we'll see them continue to fight in the next matchup. They still have a long ways to go, but they are on their way to the grand finals as well soon.
They certainly are. Locked themselves in with a matchup against their round 1 opponent LGD, and do so in quite impressive style, 9-6, 9-6. And well, we thought maybe OMG, look, they took it to all gamers. We said maybe they're going to roll over Tyloo, but it was the complete opposite of that. Short of Tyloo struggling on the gondola that we can touch on in a moment, that was really all about Tyloo.
It definitely was. I think for me, the biggest thing I noticed was Tyloo, this time around on their blacklist sides, they weren't afraid to make changes and play a bit more aggressive. Yeah. And it really showed. It worked quite well for them. They were able to get the entries they needed to, and they didn't hesitate as much on pushing into these sites.
Blue, talk to me about this gondola. I could see you getting visibly frustrated, as was I, with they kept doing the same thing to try and push. There were no nades going in. There was... I don't even understand.
Yeah, obviously we're not in the game at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
So we don't know exactly what the circumstances the players are up against, but it seems like there was plenty of opportunities to establish an angle just outside of the gondola and frag whoever was going to be on the inside of that out with either a smoke or a frag grenade and force them in. We never saw that for some reason. It was mainly used by OMG, to be fair. I don't think we saw Tyloo using it that much on their defensive side, but for some reason, every single round we saw a player from OMG positioned in there. They just could not get past him. Tyloo on their attacking side fell every single time they tried to attack the B site.
Look, I can't help but feel that somewhere down the track, 2 months from now, 6 months from now, I'm not 100% sure that that's going to be working strat, playing that gondola in that fashion. I suspect there's going to be a couple of nice nades that are completely wipe that out. But today, that's what it's about, and they come through, and we'll see how we go in 12 months' time, if it's still a thing and I'm wrong, or, you know, how they're playing. But whatever it may be, Tyloo 2-0 and do so very, very quickly. And as we said, locked themselves now in a rematch of their round 1 opponent, LGD, a team, Kyle, who, to be fair, took them down very, very quickly.
They really did, but looking at the Tyloo we just saw, I think it could be a much larger challenge here. I mean, they played completely differently. I didn't expect Tyloo to make this many adjustments, and they came in very, very strong in these two maps, and they've really shown, especially with Naval Base now being on the table, that they can play that just as well.
They seem very good on Naval Base as well. This seems like an entirely different Tyloo. As we take a look at Lele there, the amount of times I heard you call out his name in that game, Blue, 18 and 8 was the kill and death. 20 AP, very impressive from him as well. Yeah,
really stepping up to the plate. It wasn't just him either. Dongji was another one that I think had a really impressive performance, especially on our second map for Eagle Eye. Really was sending a lot of those rounds home for his team and making sure that Tyloo came out on top at the end of the day.
If you come up and pick up a triple kill, then you're going to go pretty well. But from us, that is our first best of 3 done and dusted. When we come back, it's going to be LGD up against Tyloo in our lower bracket final.
Crossfire. Everyone's FPS dream. It's more than a game. There are many paths to victory, and the champions are not only made in the arena. Do you still remember the joy and inspiration? Do you still remember the confidence and adrenaline? Do you still remember your original intention and the passion?
love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS. I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love happy time.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS. I love CFS.
I love CFS. I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS. I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS. I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
I love CFS.
Hello and welcome back. We are live from Nanjing here in China for our Crossfire event matches of Crossfire HD. We've already eliminated OMG, the first team out of the competition. Tyloo progresses now into the lower bracket final, and they're going to be going up against LGD, the team they went up head-to-head against. First matchup of the day. We've changed over our cast. We've got the real Elfish Sky and Sniper. Exciting times ahead. Gents, you've been enjoying a lot of HD so far this morning. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, definitely looks quite exciting. I've been enjoying watching the games, of course, just as much as CFS. But I really enjoy watching all these new teams, getting involved with all these new metas and that kind of thing. So it's kind of an interesting journey seeing how everything sort of plays out in this new kind of a game.
Yeah, definitely interesting. The graphics look a lot better, the game looks a lot smoother, and it looks like actually looks like a lot more fun to play. You can see there's a lot of good positive feedback on Twitch and so on like that about how the game looks, especially compared to the older version or the older zone.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that pans out in the future.
Yeah, and for me, there's been a lot of good, aggressive play as well coming out of this.
Yeah.
An opportunity as well for some experienced players to get back into the game, play on stage once again, relive their hopes and dreams. We've got a lot of CFPL pros in here, a lot of winners, a lot of CFS winners as well. So it's interesting to see who's going to head up against all gamers a little bit later on this afternoon.
I think for me, that's one of the exciting things, Ben. Obviously, I started in Crossfire in 2015, and Minnow back here for LGD. He won in 2015, so maybe there's a little bit of nostalgia there for me.
Yeah.
It's been enjoyable watching him get to play again.
Yeah,
I think he's actually been performing very, very well for LGD, and you know, I think it might be LGD that actually does go through to face.
Oh, let's
all
not get
games.
ahead of ourselves.
Whoa. That's spoilers, Jordan. You have to wait for that. You've got to wait till we ask that question. Ian, you've been enjoying some of the gameplay?
Yeah, it looks like a lot faster. Yeah, it's a lot more compact, close quarter combat as well. So that's interesting. And it's kind of eliminated the need for a sniper. So very interesting to see how people play around that. Well, you're always going to need an in-game leader, Ben. But yeah, of course, unless it's Black Widow, the other maps, the Eagle Eye and Naval Base, not much room there for a sniper. So unless you're going to whip out the pistol and have a crack with that.
Yeah, as we head into this next match, Tyloo coming through the lower bracket. They just won the last best of 3, 2-0. They're in fine form. They picked it up 9-6, and they came through. We thought maybe because the first map was Naval Base, that might suit them, something new, something that maybe no one else is used to either, as they weren't either. So, you know, it's an even playing field. But then we moved across to Eagle Eye map that they really struggled on the first time around. They actually looked quite comfortable, unless, of course, it was in the gondola.
Yeah, I think it's a lot more to do with the caliber of team that they were going up against. For Tyloo, it's quite evident that they were a little bit more comfortable in general than what OMG were, and I think not necessarily speaking so much to the maps, but when we do see, obviously, Tyloo up against LGD, we've got a lot more experience on the side of the LGD players than the Tyloo guys do have. So I think that's where a lot of that power is coming from for LGD, and yeah, maybe it does come a little bit down to the maps and that kind of thing, but because it is such a new sort of a situation with these maps and with this game, every single team may be a little bit more inexperienced on every given map regardless anyway.
Well, Jordan, we're into our pick phase, and once again, it's going to be Naval Base to kick this off. Tyloo just picked up Naval Base 9-6, and look, they're the only team here who's actually played this in competition now, so that will be interesting for sure. Black Widow, the second map, and should we need it, we're heading back to Eagle Eye. So Naval Base, Black Widow, and Eagle Eye. It's Tyloo up against LGD, a rematch of round number 1. Okay, now, Jordan, I will ask you for your prediction.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm going to go for LGD here. I think it would be kind of ludicrous to predict against LGD based on the result that we've seen between the two teams already today. It was fairly comfortable for LGD over Tyloo. You have the experience there of Minnow, again, who I want to reiterate. So I definitely think LGD, for me, should be picking this one up. I'm actually going to go 2-0 as well.
Whoa.
I think they definitely look a lot stronger than Tyloo.
Ian?
Look, I'm going to play devil's advocate just so you don't have to, Ben, and then we can get a real prediction out of you. But for me, yeah, look, Minnow really did trash them in that first map on Eagle Eye, but it was the first game of the day.
It was, mate.
And
it was.
Tyloo, they've impressed as the group stage has gone on. So I think I'm going to go Tyloo, and they need to do it in 2. If it gets to Eagle Eye, well, that's obviously going to go the way of LGD.
Well, I'm saying it's Tyloo as well. This is LGD up against Tyloo, our lower bracket final. Let's get into the action here on Naval Base. Close.
Well, into our elimination match again, Ian. So there's a lot to play for now for Tyloo and obviously for LGD. I'm certainly gunning for the LGD AG rematch of that winners bracket final. But But Naval Base, definitely a little bit more of a question mark when it does come to this one, particularly for LGD. Haven't seen them on it just yet. Lots of nuances to the map. All right, here we go into our next match. It is LGD up against Tyloo, straight onto Naval Base, and elimination time now for one of these two teams in the best of three already. One map earlier on today did go the way of LGD, but that no longer plays a part. You do have a little bit of an advantage off the back of that, though, I do feel.
Now that we're dealing with elimination now, Jordan, you're going to see a lot more of a slower style, a bit more serious, a bit more, bit of more air of caution. And, well, Tyloo on that blacklist side, starting things off very slowly, very methodically. And as you can see, not a single sniper on the board for either team.
That's fairly expected, exactly what you were talking about in the pre-match segment. Foon going to be pushing up along what is a bit of an interesting corridor for him. Really not much for him to do if he does get caught out there, aside from jump down into the water, which I don't know if is going to be necessarily too ideal for him.
No, we did talk about the concern of being in that water. You saw in the interlude there that you can get sniped down while swimming. Not at all ideal, not a favourable position to be in, but Tyloo just waiting patiently for someone from the LGD side to push on through, make a bit of a risk, make a play, force a mistake. Not going to happen. Halfway through the round now. Still only a bit of damage on the Tyloo side of things.
Slow and steady wins the race here for Tyloo. They are the ones that have to make the move, and with 45 seconds left on the clock, it is going to have to come fairly shortly. Minnow, alongside his teammate here, do have a fairly nice two-man setup.
You can see Tyloo starting to group up now, get ready for that execute. Okay, see, has a sniper, we just couldn't see it.
Well, Minnow starting off well once again for LGD, as we expect. The experienced veteran player in the roster gets the double kill. It's a 2v3 now, making it just the one for Tyloo. Sai left alive, but being collapsed upon. Minnow,
he's gone straight past him.
Where he is, but the kill is going to go the way of LGD, and that is going to be the first round of this match to LGD.
That looks like a very difficult bomb site to crack, Jordan. You've got to say, if you can just have 3 guys in that one room, Tyloo really need to save their flashbang grenades to get in there without a scratch. And you can see, even though they got mowed down in the doorway, they did eventually break through, but it was too little too late.
Yeah, really only Sai left alive in that case, and I think as one player, when you know there is still a couple of the defensive players in that position, it's really not going to be particularly easy. There's not much room to work with. You can't flank around, you can't really get out. So not much for you to do there.
Yeah, nice crossfire here by LGD. You can see May going for a couple of pot shots, falling on back. A bit of a bait and switch like we see usually. Try and draw Tyloo towards his attention, try and get them to hunt him down, but KZ again hot with that sniper getting the entries. Didn't favour them much last round. Hopefully this round they can get something out of it. The smokes will chime out across the map as Tyloo again do look to group up before the initial strike.
Now Sai has been tagged down just a little bit. Not the end of the world for Tyloo. Definitely opening things up a little bit better than what occurred in the last round, but I think what they need to be doing is really looking to shut down the powerful players of LGD, and only finding one frag is not going to be enough here for Tyloo. The experience is going to pay off right now, as you can see. Another couple go the way of LGD to equalize. Blue under a little bit of pressure here, does just wait for his teammate. They'll push on forward. Only one player to deal with here, and looks like that is going to go the way of Tyloo.
That was some costly time spent, though, by Tyloo to hunt down just that one player NCP. And still, the superstar, Minnow, alive. Bomb will go down. C4 gets planted on the B site. They're very close to retaking, though. Minnow opens it up.
exactly what needed to happen for LGD. Put it back into a 2v2 before things get too risky. Now on to JP, and he has to deal with Lele and KSZ. There's no idea where they really are. Still dancing around the bomb site. KSC in such a strong position here as well. A very nice long angle with that sniper rifle. Yeah. You see no real position.
And he spotted him out now as well. I don't see this going well. And there you go, Tyloo. Even it up early on, one apiece. And that's just the confidence they needed as well, considering how smashed they got in that first game against LGD.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is, I think, their map for the taking, or not necessarily their map for the taking, but one of their best chances because of the strength of LGD in that first match, as you say, and the fact that Tyloo have made this their choice. They've looked pretty good on this one. In that last matchup, need to make something happen here, and I don't know that it's looking so easy for them at the moment. It's JP! He'll get 3! Eventually, we'll get knocked over, but Minnow is still there, alive and kicking, and that is, I think, part of the issue maybe for Tyloo. Their individuals just can't quite step up as much as the LGD players.
Well, they cracked the bomb site early, but they just nothing they could do against that 3 kill from JP. It was so quick, and I'm seeing a lot of these as well in this zone of Crossfire.
It seems to be a lot more common, right?
Yeah, well, the lining up, it really doesn't go in your favor. You rarely saw the lineup kills or multi-kills in regular Crossfire.
Yep.
And this one is just so much easier, or you get so much reward from hitting those shots, maybe the recoil or something. But they're just making so many awesome plays. Again, that Crossfire, a little bit different, but still existing between JP and Minnow on that A site. Tyloo just taking their time, playing very cautiously. KSC, he's been the star for Tyloo so far in opening duels.
Yeah, 4 and 2 KD, over 100 damage per round as well. Dongxi 32 damage per round. Definitely needs to have more of